back with On the Radar, and this is crazy because you and I just met like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, like 2 weeks.
And I got Radamiz on the radar, right, man? What's up, bro?
I'm good, man. Chilling.
Yo, we met at this Marlon Craft concert.
Yeah.
And
Funhouse Mirror.
then I followed you, and I saw you're Dominican, right? And you were rapping, and I was listening to your New York, your NYNYNY record, and I was like, yo, this shit, I gotta have him on.
Right.
So welcome to the show, man.
That's dope, man.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm like just zenned out right now. You know what I'm saying?
I know you're very calm, man. I felt like your energy was like
well, New York, yeah. I mean, you know, you go crazy. And wait, I mean, you mean when we met at
New York at the Marlin show?
Yeah, I mean,
man?
you know, sometimes
you're very calm today.
Yeah, we're full human beings here.
Yeah,
you know
and you're reading the Prophet.
Yeah, I'm reading like this is like the third time I like ran through this. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Sometimes
like
you gotta run through some books and you gotta flip back again. Second, third time you pick up shit you didn't even realize.
Is there like a specific reason why you're reading that book again?
I just wanted to. You know what I mean? Yeah, I remember how it felt to read it. You know what I'm saying? And I think, especially lately, I don't know, I haven't been listening to a lot of like lyrical music to inspire like my lyrics. You know what I'm saying? I've been more on like jazz shit or whatever. So I was like, let me just do some reading then instead. You know, get the literature up.
Got you. So you write all your own stuff, obviously.
Unless you want to write for me.
No. You do not want me writing for you. So you like a real spitter.
Sure. What does that mean?
Like you spit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
as opposed to what? People who don't?
Yeah, being like people who are like more like, you know, lyrical. Which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I appreciate.
Yeah, I'm
people
a writer.
from New York who like write their own shit and can spit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah,
like,
I think it's important. But in general though, I don't even think it's being from New York. I think just like, you know, if you're in hip hop, I mean, everything in hip hop doesn't have to be like super lyrically conscious. But you know what I mean? If you want to be a greatest of all time, I feel like if you're aiming for like grandeur, you know what I'm saying? You gotta come with your shit. You know? And
you could still be like a greatest of all time, but still have some melodies in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I think we need more of that. We need more lyric-centric artists who understand song structure and flow and tone and, you know what I'm saying, cadence and all that shit too, because you can't just be out here rhyming words, but the song is terrible.
And it was funny because I was listening to Y.B.N. Cordae. He just dropped an album today, and there's a song on there with Meek Mill, and Meek Mill is like singing the verse, or singing the hook.
Yeah, he's been doing that recently.
What?
He's been doing that.
Yeah,
recently,
and you know it didn't sound bad
he did that
at all.
On the Khaled shit too.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with artists like him. I mean, you've done, your DNA is so printed. You know what I mean? Like people know as soon as Meek Mill comes on what his style is, what his approach is. You know what I'm saying? I think at the time of his career, you know, it's like, all right, well, let's challenge myself some more, you know?
Yeah. And
it's important to sustain growth and to sustain relevancy, I feel, you know?
Yeah. And you know what? He killed it, too. It was funny because in the song YBN goes, oh, he sang so well, I had to run it back or some shit like that. So
yeah,
it was
I got to
good.
check it out.
So it was good. So you're from Brooklyn originally, right? Best
Side.
So how did you kind of get into the rap game? Like, when did you start rapping?
Well, I wanted to be a painter at first when I was young. I don't think my hand was that good, nor the translation from my imagination to how it came out on paper.
You want to be like an
artist,
painter.
Yeah. And then when I was in 6th grade summer, I mean, I was soaking up a lot of music, just neighborhood-wise, friend group. You know what I mean? I was already bumping Reasonable Doubt. I was already bumping everything. But summer of 6th grade, going into 7th grade, I worked packing bags at Junior's Western Beef, like supermarket, and they were selling bootlegs outside. I bought some mixtapes, and I don't know, that afternoon, even though I was already listening to a bunch of shit, I was just like a kid in the summertime and try something new. And then I started realizing, you know, damn, this feels like, I saw the time pass by fast, and I saw how ill it was to finish something, and it kind of like started from that, you know. And then after a while, you realize like that's how, I don't know, the way I grow up and the way I evolve is always intertwined with my music. You know what I mean? Either my music is making me grow up, or I'm making my music grow up, vice versa. So then the relationship itself started becoming like a real thing, you know?
I feel like that was some shit that came out of the Prophet, man.
No, that's some shit that
you
comes
spoke
out.
some real facts
that's
right
just
there.
truth, though. No, like, you know, because I realized that when I was in 9th grade, you know, I took MCing and songwriting class. I went to school for music and art, you know what I mean? And when I got there, it was like, it wasn't just battle rap anymore. Now it was like, yo, you got to say something. It just felt like I leveled up, you know what I'm saying? And through that, I learned about myself, and I don't know. And then sometimes your music tells you things about you didn't even realize.
Right. And you're Dominican too. Would doing Spanish type of music, would that be something that you're interested in?
No, hell no. Absolutely not, because it's not authentic to that's not the part of the story I represent. You know what I mean? I'm from Best, I'm from the projects. You know what I mean? I grew up mostly around black people. You know what I mean? There were some Spanish people because I still have family in Bushwick and I went to middle school in Bushwick. But that's not my story, and I feel like I'm speaking more for the first generation immigrant. I feel like I'm speaking more for the person, because if I'm here, I'm not considered American, I'm considered Dominican. If I go to DR, I'm not considered Dominican, I'm considered American. You know what I mean? So now there is that in between, and it's not just in the Latino community, that's in general. So it's like, yeah, I can't, I'm not even raised with the same I'm not from Dykeman, I'm not from the Bronx, I'm not from, Spanish communities in Queens. Like, that's not true to me. You know what I mean? Like, I listen to some Spanish shit for sure, but I don't know, I feel like I would be spitting in the face of my culture, I feel like I should represent in this way and open up the conversation even more,
See, that's interesting, because I've never really heard of any, like, because my mother's also from Bed-Stuy. She's also from, like, the projects around there, from, like, Boricua Plaza.
Yeah, so that's right where I'm from.
Yeah, that's where she grew up. So I think it's interesting, because I've never really heard anybody, like, talk about it like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, if she goes to Puerto Rico, they're gonna be like, nah, you an American.
Yeah.
But she's in America, that's like, nah, you're Puerto Rican.
Yeah, exactly. They're looking at me for my culture. Yeah, exactly.
And I never thought of it like that.
So as an MC, that's more of a responsibility, because I'm already that in real life. But then coming into music, it's like, why the fuck do I have to speak in Spanish? Like, I don't talk in Spanish. Like, unless I'm talking to my parents or people who can't speak English. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm speaking in English. Are you fluent at all or not?
Of course. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Not the perfect, but I get.
But you could you could get by. You could go.
Of course, that's how. I mean, my first language is Spanish technically, so. But nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? It's just not true. And I feel like, especially like Dominicans in hip hop, you know what I mean? If there's Latino presence has always existed to a certain extent, even though I feel like it wasn't always respected, but even when it was, I feel like it was more so the Puerto Rican community. Yeah. So now it's like, I'm Dominican at that. So now it's like, we do not have representation for real. Like, Cardi B's like the first in like forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and even then, she like I said, she grew up uptown, so she was way more in tune. And
with that type of culture and whatnot.
That's not me.
Yeah, no, I get that. There's a lot of like, and I've had a few other Hispanic like rappers on this show before, and it's kind of interesting having these conversations on and off camera. Yeah. And it's hard because sometimes there's people from uptown, there's people from Brooklyn, and it's all different cultures. Yeah. And for some of them, they're like, oh, it's hard for me to get into this music industry shit because you know what I'm saying, like I'm not the type of artist that that they're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Because of like where they grew up, what their sound is. You know what I'm saying? Like, people expect me to be a Spanish artist, but like I rap. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So I think that's like kind of. Have you found that kind of like it's tough to be like a rapper, like just.
I don't think I'm nice because I'm Spanish. I think I'm nice because I'm nice.
No, I'm not.
You know
I'm
what I'm saying?
saying
No.
That,
So when you saying things like that, and like even my friends tell me like I would have been blown up if I was black. You know what I'm saying? Like, they tell me that shit. I don't necessarily agree. I think for me, I just have this is new territory, and when you're the first of, or when that blueprint hasn't really existed like that for you in a full, sustained, consistent way. You're gonna run into barriers, and because it's uncharted territory. Yeah, you have to create the definition. You have to create the blueprint. You know what I mean?
Like Cardi did, like Joe,
to
like
a certain
Joe
extent.
Did,
Exactly. So when you have those artists come, even though they've contributed immensely, Nori, even though they contributed immensely. They aren't. It's not. We haven't had that much of an impact where
like there's not a group
where it's not gonna be considered.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, when you mention an artist in hip hop. And if they're black, you don't specify that they're black. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, but with me, it's like you have to specify that I'm Dominican. You know what I'm saying? We don't have enough of us existing where I don't need that representation, where I don't need to be defined in that way.
Right.
Even though I'm proud of where I'm from, and I'm proud of like the responsibility I have to open up the way we're perceived in music, but in general, you know what I'm saying? As a people, I feel like that's more the issue. So it's like you just gotta keep going.
We just gotta and keep making our own lane in this music industry shit. That's interesting. No, but that'd be great. Like, you know what? I would love for there to be like, if especially with like all the people in New York City who rap or who are part of like hip hop and aren't, obviously they're Hispanic, but they're not doing like Hispanic music, reggaeton, whatever it is. I would love if like we could just like they could just be acknowledged as rappers,
just as artists. I mean, and I think
or as artists.
But and that's what it comes down to, though. It's like, what kind of artist are you? You know what I mean? Like, I think for me, I feel like I hold the responsibility to represent and make it part of like the visual package that I'm Dominican. You know what I'm saying? If it's like a flag, if it's a setting, if it's like cultural references in my music, you know what I'm saying? And the album that I have coming up, it's definitely present in my shit. But I think I also have a responsibility to be an artist outside of just my nationality being repped. And it's like, if you're just making great music, now everything that you are on a bullet point, age, where you're from, nationality, whatever the case may be, that you end up you end up becoming a helping hand for that more, as opposed to having that be the driving factor for your success. It's like if the music is just ill and that comes secondhand, you know what I mean? I feel like that's more of a progressive.
You feel like that's how it should
that's
be
more
too.
progressive. Yeah. And then, I just had a conversation with my man with Crime Apple and UFO Feeve, who are like two artists, from Jersey and Uptown, and it's like we're talking the same shit. It's like, it's part of your upbringing, but at the end of the day, you're an artist, and it's like, but you do have a responsibility. So it's both. You got to juggle it.
I think it's all about just kind of like breaking down that door, you know what I'm saying, to get to the point.
We need more Fat Joes and Big Puns.
Oh
and
yeah,
Cardi
because when you look
B's
at
and
Fat, because when you look
people.
at them, you don't even like, you're not like, you're right, and you know what, like that's something that like I've come to realize over time. Like when you talk about Fat Joe, you don't really question. You're like, oh yeah, he's an artist first.
Yeah.
But then he's also
he's Puerto Rican.
But then
he's from the Bronx.
he's
You know it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Same thing with Pun. Like Pun wasn't nice because he was Puerto Rican. Pun wasn't nice because he was fat. Pun was nice, and then you thought about all the other shit.
Same thing with
you know
Cardi.
What I'm saying? Exactly.
Cardi made
so
good records.
Like, she's entertaining no matter where she's from. You know what I mean? It's like, but she incorporates and she represents it because she's also aware of that responsibility you carry. But you don't hear her rapping in Spanish every song. You don't hear her. You know what I'm saying? Like
she's done like some records like in the past before her.
Exactly.
Her
I'm sure it was natural. You know what I'm saying? She actually listens to this shit. I can't spit Osuna lyrics word for word. Like I'm not. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. That's not.
That's not your thing.
That's what I'm saying. She's in tune with that. Even you know what I'm saying? Like where she was raised. You know what I'm saying? So for me, and I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that represents what my experiences are.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
completely. So let's talk about your new album coming up. You got is your second album?
Yeah, second project.
So talk to me about the second project. What we got?
Well, we got 3 joints out now: V.I.M, NYNYNY, and Save the Youth.
All great records.
But thanks, bro. But yeah, I guess for me, it's an album that addresses evolution, the need to be vulnerable, the need to be expressive, the need to try out new things, not just stick to the same formula, whatever pattern of success existed before. But then more importantly, I feel like also, just as importantly, I think, as being from New York and being an artist from New York, representing, you know what I'm saying, where I'm from, representing the sound and the lineage of just our culture, but adding to it and being diverse, creating actual bodies of work. You know what I'm saying? Not like I drop a joint and then there's going to be, if you heard one song, you heard 10 of them. Like, that's not the type of artist I want to be. That's not the type of artist I think. I don't think that's how we're bred. You know what I'm saying? I think New York is bred on taking risks and, you know what I'm saying, setting trends and being able to, like, rep your flag, because we are a world brand. You know what I mean? It's not like you can sound like New York and you can rep New York all day, but you don't got to just do it to your block. You know what I'm saying? Like we are looked at in the world. You know what I mean? We're not the only place, but like culturally, stylistically, taste-wise, the buildings are all here. You know what I'm saying? The history is here. Even
facts.
outside of hip hop. So, I think that was important for my shit too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm from New York, I'm here, but I'm also like, we're also here to expand, and we're also here to make sure that respect is put back on the name of our city, Because a lot of people talk shit, and it's just like...
What do you mean people talk
shit?
So
uneducated.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, people
like talk shit on their records?
People talk shit about, and New York artists do too, about sound and collaboration and the lack of originality in sound, the lack of... It's like New York has always been diverse. Like, I feel like New York is in the best place it's ever been, honestly. To me,
I think
it's the most diverse it's ever been. It's like, even if you don't, people think like I want more artists to sound like New York, and it's just like, I don't even know what that means. Like, you want us to sound like 94, or you want us to sound like New York, because everybody sounds like they're from New York when I hear their music. Cardi B sounds like she's from New York. French Montana sounds like they're from New York. A Boogie sounds like he's from New York. ASAP Mob sound like they're from New York. Prora sounds like they're from New York. Like Action Bronson, Wiki and them sound like they're from. Everybody sounds like they're from New York. But if you're talking about the direction and stylistically in their music, why should that be contained to a certain thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't you express on different tempos and different sounds and different melodies, different ways of telling your story? You know what I mean?
I agree. And, we have a lot of conversations now about, like, Atlanta, how Atlanta's collaborative and, like, all the people from there, like, support each other. But I've been seeing more of it in New York, as of recently, at least.
But people don't think that all about it. People from Atlanta don't think it's collaborative over there either, though. You know what I'm saying? I think the stars are just very collaborative, and I think the studio experiences and the studio environments in Atlanta lend itself to collaboration. In New York, you're not pulling up to somebody's studio session. Like, that shit is mad awkward. You're gonna go to the 50-something street and go up to the 30th floor, and it's gonna be one room.
Like, what?
Like, yeah, like, what do you? You know what I'm saying? That people gotta spend money, and they're in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, the studio collaborative ecosystem doesn't exist in New York to me, but people are opening up to that. You know what I'm saying? And they stop bitching and they actually are putting in the work. So,
I've seen that. Like, I've had a lot of people on the show. Up and coming people in New York, and people just like just artists from around here. And I've like over time, I guess I've seen, maybe it's just because I meet them periodically, but I see them like follow each other. I see them in each other's comment sections on IG, on social media. So it's kind of nice to be able to see, that whether or whether they saw an interview of someone and they were like, oh, I've been on Gabe's show before and I saw this person, like, let me follow them and connect with them, whatever. Whether that was the case or whether they met them externally or at a party or something like that, it's still nice to see that, like, a lot of up-and-coming people from New York, a lot of people who are still kind of making a name for themselves and trying to kick in that door are making an effort to kind of, like, extend that branch or, becoming friends with other people in New York or other artists and whatnot.
Hopefully that stays and hopefully it becomes real. You know what I'm saying? And even more authentic, and that people actually don't have a problem with sharing their light, because that's the thing too. It's like the more collaborative authentically. I don't need people jumping on. I don't need to hear albums and hear 40 other rappers from New York, because you know what I'm saying? Like, authentically, like, who you really fucking with. Like, work with people who you think are better than you. You know what I'm saying? Who you think are gonna body you on the song. Work with those people so that everybody brings the best out of each other, and then through that, there's gonna be that cross-pollination of fan bases, and then the industry then goes right back to, because the industry doesn't care. They just care about where is it hot at.
Yeah.
They don't care about the region. They don't care about the sound. They don't care about the message. They do not give a fuck. They care about, if it's hot, we're gonna go over there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but it's in the best place I think it's ever been.
I agree, and it's really nice.
At least in the last couple of years, for real.
Oh,
since like
facts.
2012-ish on, like, I feel like it's been upwards,
And you know what, like, I see a lot of people showing out to support other people now, you know what I'm saying? Like, we was both at the Marlon Craft show together, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the homie Marlon Craft too.
I was on his last project, like, even before this one. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? So like, there's still a lot of collaborative effort there.
But that's always existed though. People go out to the parties. What? Like, I know all the rappers are gonna come to the parties. All the rappers are gonna follow you on Instagram. It ain't about that though. What I'm talking about is like the exchange of information and resources and actually doing records and collabing and putting each other's names next to each other is the other thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, Instagram. I mean, everybody could get a follow.
No, I know, but like, it's not
part of it though. It's good.
I feel like a lot of people have a lot of pride, and you know what I'm saying? So like, there's always like a little pride in the sense of like, like this person followed you and they didn't follow you. You know what I'm saying? There's always like some type of animosity.
That's just social media.
It is.
I don't even think it's just New York hip hop. I think that's just social media.
I agree. But it's like nice to see that, like, people
at least
on
on
each
that.
other, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're rocking with each other. You liking people's pictures, of course, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like people like my homie Stash. He's from Flatbush, and he works a lot with Gangtivity.
Yeah.
Who are also from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? And they also work with Deli, who's from Harlem. You know what I'm saying? So like, those are just 3 examples of people who I know are in like a little collaborative.
Well, Stash gets it though, because he came up. You know what I'm saying? I've known about him for years, and it's just like he came up throwing his own party, so he understands the collaborative effort of just like like creating in a public space. You know what I'm saying? Outside, like, of course, if you can gear it towards performances and people fucking with your music, that's even better. But he understands it even from that level. You know what I mean? Like, just from the social level, it's important. Because you gotta be popping amongst your friend group before you can be popping in the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's how you even get to that place. You know what I'm saying? You're only a few people away.
Right. So besides that, what else can we expect from your new album? Like, in terms of sounds, we got a lot of different sounds coming.
Yeah.
Any collaborations coming along? Or?
Yeah, some collaborations on it as well. No, I think it's just been a minute since I personally have heard a new artist come and just be vulnerable about their story and be vulnerable about what they think is truth. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I have a lot of love in my heart. I feel like I have unity. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I have no problem. I've been through things in my life and I have no problem sharing them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be just cool. I'm not trying to be depressing either. I have a lot of joy in me. I have a lot of happiness and I have no problem putting that on record as well. Like, I think there's people complain about a lot of music and people complain about the landscape, but that's not true. There's so much amazing music that's out there, and there's so many people that are just like being raw and really representing where it is that they're from and really sticking to that message. You know what I'm saying? And if you're looking at my track record, I know you only know a couple of joints, but like a New York, for example, is like this conversation that we have. That's a song that's, for me, embodies the anxiety of like being in this city and millions of people around you, and you can break down and cry in public and nobody gives a fuck. They're not gonna stop.
Right.
Like, you can be bleeding and they're gonna go right on the train station, they're gonna bump you, you know what I'm saying? They gotta get somewhere. New York is like, yo, like, hear me, you know what I'm saying? V.I.M is like when people downplay your success and people downplay the things that you've been through in your life, you know what I'm saying? Like, the last thing you want is you to run into an old friend from high school and they're like, oh man, oh, you still doing that radio thing? Like, oh, you still chasing the dream? You know, people, you'd be surprised when people don't believe in themselves or just lack knowledge, the dirt that they throw on you. But when you're really sacrificing on a day-to-day basis, like, being an artist is not easy, bro. That shit is not light. Being in any field, this field, you hear, like, nobody's jobs are certain, nobody's tomorrows are guaranteed, fame is not guaranteed. You can't buy fans, you can buy followers, you can buy great camera equipment, you can pay for the best producers and features. That shit does not guarantee that people are gonna support you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, V.I.M was that. Like, yo, you know how much we gotta fucking go through to even be here? Like, it's real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is real shit, and V.I.M was like the expression of that. But then my last record, Save the Youth, is like, you know what? There is good news on the way, though. You know what I mean? And there are good sides to this too. It's not just complaining. It's not just landscape. Like, I don't give a fuck about other rappers as much anymore. Like, I really used to. I really did. You know what I mean? And after a while, I have to be selfish in my well-being. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna make the best music that I can, if I'm gonna keep my heart pure through this industry that does not give a fuck about you, you know what I'm saying? We are so disposable to media.
Right.
Because it's not people. It's not you. It's not this. It's just media. It's a tech company. The music industry is a tech company, and the product is MP3. Whoever the new artist is, if the charts are popping, that's what they're following. But these are real people. These are real individuals, real human beings out here sacrificing their sanity, sacrificing their youth. You know what I'm saying? To pursue something. So, I'm sensitive to that. You know what I mean? And so I had to really look at that and be like, you know what? Like, I could give comments on all this other shit, but I gotta live my own truth. And if I'm gonna lose, if I'm gonna fail, if this is the highest I ever get, let me make sure I say something with it. You know what I'm saying? Let me make sure I thank the people that have helped me gotten here. Let me make sure I express any gems that I picked up along the way to remain brave and remain, you know what I'm saying, victory mind, like the mentality of being victorious no matter how many losses are presenting themselves to you, and then just put that into my shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, goddamn.
You know what I mean? That's
hey, you just been some major facts.
But you know,
on the show,
we can still smoke and drink and go to the party. You know what I'm saying? I got a girl. I used to fuck with bitch. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm good now. But you know what I'm saying? Like, all of that.
Yeah.
That's me. I don't give a fuck about nobody else. Because
we all got a story.
Yeah, when you win this long enough, bro. When you win this long enough, you realize, like, it's not a bad thing. It's just people don't care. You know what I'm saying? You have to care, and you have to surround yourself with the people who do actually have love for you and want to see you succeed, whether they're gonna get a piece of it or not.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So that's where I'm on.
You
right
should
now,
just not drop the mic. You good, bro? You good? No, that was
but
facts,
I'm blessed.
bro.
You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed. I pray a lot. I talk to God a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's where that comes from. It's like, I bet if I don't, because then I can actually be of service. You know,
That's
then
awesome.
I could open the door. Then I can open the door and leave it and have the heart to
And
do
then
it.
yeah, that's amazing. So when can we expect a new album?
This year.
This year, and by the end of this year?
Sure. Yeah.
You're like yeah.
Well, you know, it's rollout too. You know, the album is mixed. Actually, I haven't. That's why I wish I could get more into like producers, features.
No, yeah, of course.
But rollout.
It's a process.
It's mixed. It's mastered. The album cover's there. It's there. You know what I'm saying?
It's a process.
It's just the last couple of pieces. You know.
Well, once that album comes out and it puts up all the numbers, you got to come back and we gonna do this again.
Make sure you put your people on. Make sure you actually. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Because the biggest thing that I will hope for is that somebody, even if they've only, you know, a lot of people just know artists from a very like distant place. Like, oh, Radamiz, yeah, he's dope. They don't even know a song. They don't know, you know, they just know, oh yeah, he's dope. I just want those people
to listen.
Just give it a chance. Give me, even if you just skipping 30 seconds per record to see which one fits your shit, like give me that, because I know there's gonna be something there for you. Because I judge music very critically, you know, and I wouldn't put something out that, I don't know, wouldn't be worth
You seem
doing
like you're
that,
really
at
about
least,
your craft.
You know, I try, bro.
You're really about your craft. Well, thank you, man.
This
has been enlightening. No, this is, you know,
I'm blessed that you even wanted to do it, you know.
Yo, he brought the prophet with him today. Came through talking like the prophet. Talk. You know. Like,
life is a trip, bro. Life is a trip.
No, yeah,
and for me, I feel like I've been elected that kind of figure to just be honest. You know, I can't. Yo, this shit is exhausting, bro. I know a lot of famous people, you know, industry. Once you in it enough, and I'm still blessed to not have all the limelight on, so I'm really sitting in the mirror asking myself the real questions. Like, if I'm gambling with my life to pursue music, what the fuck does that music represent and sound like? Like, fuck all that other shit, like, for real, because life is short in a good way. You gotta appreciate this shit right now, you know what I mean? So I don't try to waste a moment, bro.
That's amazing.
Word.
Wow. I don't even know what else to say. That was great. Yo, let the people know, man. So we got an album come by the end of this year. Where they
listen to all the music.
Where can they follow you at? Where they can stream you at?
If they're watching this video, it says Radamiz, and you can just look that up if you're really interested.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And they can stream you on all platforms and all that beautiful shit.
Absolutely.
Amazing. We're gonna drop a freestyle after this. Y'all ain't ready for this shit.
God bless.
It's Radamiz on the radar, bro.
Bless. Thank you, bro.